Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are creating this amazing black and white motion graphic reel. The kind you see going viral on Instagram all the time. Clean, minimal, super satisfying to look at. And the best part, we're building the whole thing right here in Premiere Pro. Let's not waste any time and get straight into it. I'll be adding all the PNG graphics and assets to the description, so you can download them and follow along with me step by step. Alright, this reel has 3 scenes. I'll walk you through each one. Let's start with Scene 1. Okay, Scene 1. Looking at the final result. We have a clean white background with a grid overlay, 2 overlapping oval line shapes, black star decorations in the corners, a barcode PNG in the top right, a dollar bill PNG in the center, and bold text below it. Very editorial, very sharp. Let's build it. First things first, the background. Go to the project panel, click New Item, and choose Color Matte. Select Pure White as the color. Add it to your timeline. This is our base. Now I add the grid image on top of the white color matte layer. I decrease the size of the grid slightly so it fits nicely inside the frame. Then I crop a little off the bottom to remove the black watermark bar at the bottom of the grid image. After cropping, I decrease the opacity of the grid to around 50%. We want it to be visible but very subtle, just a hint of texture in the background. Now for the large decorative oval lines. I select the ellipse tool from the left toolbar and draw a large oval shape, big enough to go almost edge to edge of the frame. Then in Properties, I remove the fill completely and set the stroke to black with a pixel width. I adjust the position as shown on screen. Then I decrease the opacity of this oval to around 50% so it blends softly with the background. Now I duplicate this oval layer and reposition the second one slightly differently, offset from the first. Together, these 2 overlapping oval lines create a nice depth and movement in the background design. Now I add the dollar bill PNG, the money image. I decrease its size and adjust the position so it sits roughly in the center of the composition, sitting inside the oval lines area. Now I add the star PNG. I place it in one of the corners, then I go to Effect Controls and turn on the rotation keyframe. I move a few frames forward and rotate the star slightly. This creates a smooth, slow spin animation on the corner star, very stylish. Then I duplicate the star layer and place the second star in the opposite corner. Now, both corners have spinning stars that add movement and energy to the design. I add the barcode PNG and place it in the top right corner of the frame. This is a design element that adds to the graphic/editorial look of the reel. Just position it neatly in that top right area. Now for the text. I select the text tool and type my main text. I'm using the CoolVetica font for the large, bold text. It has a strong, confident look that works perfectly for this style. I place this main text underneath the money PNG. Then I duplicate the text layer and type the second word. For this word, I change the font to Tempting. I decrease the size slightly and place it above the main text. So we have the small Tempting script word sitting above, and the large CoolVetica bold word below. This visual hierarchy looks really clean and intentional. Now I duplicate the text layer one more time for the paragraph text, the longer supporting sentence. I use the same CoolVetica font, but decrease the size significantly. I center align it and place it below the main text, as you can see on screen. Font sizes, positions, and spacing I'm using. The full project file is available for members. Join the membership and open it up alongside this tutorial. If you're already a member, the download link is in the post section of my channel right now. Now let's add Life to the Money PNG. I select the dollar bill layer, go to Effect Controls, and turn on the rotation keyframe. I add 2 keyframes. The money starts at a slight angle and rotates slowly to a slightly different angle. I select the last keyframe, right-click, and choose Ease In. Then I open the graph editor and adjust the curve so the animation starts fast and slows down at the end. Very smooth, very natural movement. Now it's time to bring everything together. I select all the layers except the background oval lines and the white color matte. Right-click and choose Nest. This groups all my elements into one neat nested sequence. Now I go to Effect Controls on this nested layer and turn on the Scale keyframe. Here's the animation, 3 keyframes. The first keyframe is at 130% scale, slightly zoomed in. The second keyframe in the middle is at 110% scale. The third and last keyframe is at 100% scale. The final natural size. This creates a zoom out reveal effect where the scene punches in and then settles. I select the middle keyframe and choose Ease In, then adjust the graph so the middle of the animation, coming from 130 to 110, moves fast. Then for the last keyframe, I do the opposite. It moves fast at the end too. So the overall feel is starts fast, eases into the middle, then snaps fast to the final position. Now for a really cool finishing touch on scene 1. I add an adjustment layer on top of all the layers. Then I go to Effects and add a vignette effect to this adjustment layer. This darkens the edges of the frame slightly. Then I search for the RGB Split effect and add it to the same adjustment layer. In Effect Controls, I increase the horizontal split value to create the color split separation. Now here's the key step. I create an ellipse mask on this effect and draw the mask in the center of the frame. Then I invert the mask. This means the RGB split effect is now only visible on the corners and edges of the frame, not in the center. The center stays clean and sharp. I increase the feather of the mask to make the transition soft and smooth. Now the corners have this gorgeous chromatic aberration glow effect. And scene 1 is ready. It looks amazing. Moving on to scene 2. Looking at the screen, the layout is similar but repositioned, with a Bitcoin coin on the right side and text on the left. For scene 2, I copy and paste the white color mat, the background grid, and the 2 oval line shapes directly from scene 1. This keeps the design consistent and saves a lot of time. I then adjust the oval lines slightly for this scene's layout. I shift them a bit to the right since our main subject will be positioned differently. Check the screen to see the adjusted oval placement. I copy the corner star layers from scene 1 and brought them into scene 2 as well. This keeps everything consistent. Same spinning stars, same corners. Consistency across scenes is what makes the reel feel like a complete professional piece rather than disconnected slides. Now here's something interesting for scene 2. Instead of a PNG image, I'm using a green screen coin flip video. This is a short video clip of a coin flipping against a green background. You can download this along with the other assets from the description. I added this video clip to my timeline. Then I go to Effects and search for Ultra Key. Drag and drop Ultra Key onto the coin flip video layer. In Effect Controls, I use the eyedropper to sample the green color in the video, and the green background disappears, leaving just the spinning coin with a transparent background. I position the coin on the right side of the frame as shown on screen. Then I go to Effects and add a tint effect to the coin layer. In Effect Controls, I set the tint to map the colors to black and white. This makes the coin match our black and white theme perfectly. The full project file with every effect and setting is available for members. If studying keyframes and effect values is your thing, grab it from the membership. Members, check the Posts section. I copy and paste the text layers from scene 1. This way I don't have to change the font or set up the style from scratch. I just retype the new text content for this scene. First, I decrease the text size a bit. Then I select the bottom supporting text and decrease its size a little more. So the first line is bigger and the second line is smaller. Clear visual hierarchy. Looking at it now, the text feels a bit flat with no depth. So I go to Effects, search for Long Shadow, and add it to the text layer. In Effect Controls, I set the alpha falloff to 100% and decrease the shadow opacity so it creates a nice, soft, long shadow effect rather than a heavy black block. The text now has beautiful depth. For consistency, I copied that long shadow effect and pasted it onto the scene 1 text layers as well, so both scenes have matching shadow treatment. Now I duplicate the text layer and type the longer paragraph text. I decreased the size significantly and placed it below the main text. For this paragraph text, I deleted the long shadow effect. It doesn't look great on small paragraph text, so we keep it clean. Now here's something that not many editors think about. Visual balance. Look at the composition. Our main elements, text, coin, oval lines, are all in the bottom left area of the frame. The top right corner is empty and light. That visual imbalance makes the design feel off. So I added the QR code PNG in the top right area to balance the composition. This small addition makes the design feel complete and intentional. It fills the visual weight on the right side and brings balance to the frame. Remember, great video editing isn't just about putting things on screen and making it look cool. It's about understanding visual hierarchy, balance, and graphic design fundamentals. A balanced composition is what separates a beginner edit from a professional one. I select all the text layers and corner star layers and nest them together. Then I apply the exact same 3 keyframe scale animation that I used in Scene 1. 130%, 110%, 100%, with the same ease-in settings and graph adjustment. Same smooth zoom-out reveal. Scenes 1 and 2 now have perfectly matching animation styles. Scene 2 is done. And now Scene 3, the last scene. This one has a different look. We've swapped the oval lines for a camera viewfinder style frame, the corner bracket shapes, and the main PNG is a brain image with a dotted spinning circle behind it, very unique and editorial. Same process. I copy and paste the white color mat and the background grid from the previous scene. These background elements stay consistent across all 3 scenes, which gives the whole reel a unified look. For Scene 3, instead of oval lines, we have a square record-style box, like a camera viewfinder frame with corner brackets. I add this element to the timeline and make it slightly smaller to fit the design. Now I add the dotted circle PNG to the timeline. I make it slightly bigger to give it presence in the frame. Then I add a long shadow effect to it in the same settings as before, alpha fall off at 100%, and opacity decrease to keep it subtle. Now, I want this dotted circle to slowly rotate to give it life. I go to Effect Controls and turn on the rotation keyframe. I add 2 keyframes, one at the start and one at the end. The circle will slowly spin throughout the scene. Simple but effective. Now I add the brain PNG image. I decrease the size and center align it so the brain sits perfectly inside the rotating dotted circle. The brain is contained within the circle, like it's being highlighted or focused on. To match our black and white theme, I add a tint effect to the brain PNG and make it black and white. Now it blends perfectly with the rest of the design. I want the brain to have a very subtle rotation animation, just enough to feel alive without being distracting. I go to Effect Controls and turn on the rotation keyframe. I set a start keyframe, move forward in time, and rotate the brain just a few degrees. Then I select the last keyframe, right-click, choose Ease In, open the graph editor, and adjust the curve so the animation starts fast and eases slowly to the end, smooth and natural. I copy the text layers from the previous scene and type my new text for Scene 3. There are 2 sections of text, one above the brain and one below. For the text above the brain, the upper text should be smaller and the bottom text should be larger. So I select the upper text layer and decrease the size. I center align it and place it above the brain image. Then in Properties, I decrease the line spacing slightly, because right now the 2 lines of text feel too far apart. Bringing them closer together makes the text block read as one cohesive unit rather than 2 separate floating words. Small detail, big difference. For the text below the brain, same rule. Upper text is smaller, lower highlighted text is bigger. I copy the text layer, type the new bottom text, and place it below the brain. Same visual hierarchy. Smaller supporting text on top. Big, bold featured word underneath. I select all the layers except the background elements, right-click, and nest them. Then I copy the nest animation from the previous scene. Same 3 keyframe scale animation, 130%, 110%, 100%, and paste it here. All 3 scenes now have the same consistent zoom-out reveal animation. Scene 3 is done. Now our 3 scenes are built. But when we play it back and watch the scene changes, it looks jarring and abrupt. Let's fix that with a really smooth and elegant transition. I add an adjustment layer right at the point where Scene 1 changes to Scene 2. This adjustment layer sits right at the cut point, a few frames before and a few frames after the scene change. I go to Effects and search for Bokeh Blur. I drag and drop it onto this adjustment layer. Bokeh Blur creates a beautiful, soft, dreamy out-of-focus effect, perfect for a smooth scene change. In Effect Controls, I position my playhead right at the center of the adjustment layer, which is exactly at the scene change point. I turn on the keyframe for blur amount. At this center point, the default blur amount is 30%. That's perfect. So I just turn on the keyframe and leave it at 30. Then I move a few frames forward from the center and set the blur amount to 0%. Then I move a few frames backward from the center, before the cut, and also set the blur amount to 0%. Very smooth and stylish. Now for the easing. I select the first keyframe and choose Ease Out. I select the last keyframe and choose Ease In. Then I open the graph editor and adjust the curve. The start is slow, the middle moves fast, and the end is slow again. This creates a very organic blur transition. It feels like a camera lens softly losing and regaining focus. I feel like the first animation might be a little too long. Let me just trim it slightly to tighten up the timing. Now I copy and paste this adjustment layer to every scene change point in the reel, wherever scene 1 meets scene 2, and wherever scene 2 meets scene 3. Make sure each time you paste it, the center keyframe, the 30% blur point, is positioned exactly at the frame where the scene actually changes. Our smooth black and white minimal motion graphic reel is complete. All 3 scenes connected with buttery smooth transitions. And that is it. 3 scenes, all built from scratch inside Premiere Pro. No After Effects, no complicated plugins. One last reminder, if you want to download the full project file and study every single layer, every effect, every keyframe setting, join the YouTube membership. It is genuinely the fastest way to level up your editing. The link is on screen and in the description. Keep editing, keep leveling up. Peace.